Hi, I'm Shonda Rhimes, and I'm thrilled to be Variety's Showwoman of the Year. The lessons you learn about being a good showrunner come from the mistakes that you've made or the failures that you've had. The ones that I've learned the best are to respect the process of the actors. Their input and your input are what build a character together. I also think that one of the lessons I've learned over the years is that good ideas come from everywhere, but you also need to know that every idea isn't a good idea, and just because you get a note, it doesn't mean that it needs to be taken. It just means that there's something that's not clear. You know, growing up, I wanted to be a novelist. I really spent a lot of time reading. I was very lucky I have these parents who made a rule that I could read whatever I wanted, meaning that, like, I read The French Lieutenant's Woman when I was 8 and asked my mother lots of questions, and she would say the dictionary's over there. What I love about that is that it just made my love of reading that much stronger. I don't think I really thought about other mediums until I was older. I mean, there was a moment in time, Eddie Murphy was the king of comedy, and Whoopi Goldberg was ruling Broadway, and Oprah was on television. I suddenly looked around and thought, like, this could be a career. I read an article that said it was harder to go to USC Film School than it was to go to Harvard Law School, and my parents are academics. And I thought, well, they can't say that's a bad thing. So I applied to USC Film School, got in, and went. That's how I ended up in this business. Grey's Anatomy is hitting season 18 this year. It is amazing to me that we are still on the air. I mean, a show that I wrote with a baby strapped to my chest, that baby's in college now. That is astounding to me. All the people who've become doctors because they watch that show, all the people who tell me that they learned how to do CPR or figured out that there's somebody in their family had a disease or was having a heart attack or something because of that show and they were able to save a life. I'm incredibly grateful for all of that experience. I'm still amazed at where it stands in the ratings for the network. Honestly, I hope the biggest legacy of the show is that a lot more women go into science. I really do think that that should be the show's biggest legacy. The idea that we are making more female surgeons every day is huge. Sadly, I think the legacy might simply just be that we made it possible for more people of color to have jobs on camera, on television, which makes me embarrassed for television. When Grey's Anatomy first came on the air, I remember that feeling of like, I've written something, and then I say interior OR day, and then they build me an OR. This is like magical. It didn't take very long to understand that what was magical was also extraordinarily financially viable for ABC, and that they were making a ton of money off of my imagination. And that's fine, as long as I, too, was profiting from my imagination. Really understanding that it was a business was a very quick moment in time. You should never feel guilty for wanting to be fairly compensated for what you do well. I feel like I don't know that there was a particular moment when I realized I had power, but knowing you have power and owning the power are two different things. And I think it's taken me a lot longer to just own having power. Now I feel like there's a way to use it for good.
Miss Daphne Bridgerton.
You have no idea what it is to have one's entire life reduced to a single moment.
Bridgerton's success has been incredible, and I don't think I've experienced anything like it. Having something go global, you know, all at once, and then have such a giant response was enormous and huge. But I wasn't really worried about how it was going to do or how many people were going to see it. I just knew that we were making a show that I really liked making and I really wanted to watch. The Bridgerton books are witty. They're witty and they're funny and they have sort of a take on feminist romance that I hadn't really seen before when reading romance novels in general. And I really liked Julia Quinn's voice. I could feel the series within them. And it felt very universal to me in a way that felt modern, but also unique.
So you find my smile pleasing?
I find your opinion of yourself entirely too high.
Bridgerton's always been created so that every season we're telling a different romance, a story of a different couple. I mean, literally there are 8 Bridgerton siblings. As far as I'm concerned, there are 8 Bridgerton seasons. And so to me, I was really surprised by the response to the fact that Ray Gajon-Page was not going to be joining us again for season 2, mainly because the Duke is the star of season 1, and then season 2, it's all about a different couple. And our goal, and if we do our job correctly, is you are going to be as invested and excited by that couple as you were by the couple from season 1, as you will be by the couples from season 3 or season 4.
Anna Sorokin, who renamed herself Anna Delvey, accused of posing as a German heiress, claiming to have a more than $60 million bank account overseas.
The entire idea of doing a story about a scam artist, Anna Delvey, Anna Sorokin, however you want to refer to her, that character was so compelling in the sense that if she had been a man, I'm not sure it would have caused such a ruckus. If she had been a hot chick, I'm not sure it would have caused such a ruckus. But because she was an ordinary looking woman who was smart and brilliant and went for what she wanted and felt no remorse about it, people were outraged or shocked or stunned or fascinated. And I found that to be really, really intriguing because I don't think she did anything different than what any guy on Wall Street's done, and none of them have done any time, and she been in jail for quite a while. Not to say she didn't do anything wrong, I'm just saying gender did play a part. What was really fun about adapting the article about Anna Delvey into the show Inventing Anna was that I really decided to step into the shoes of the journalist. Jessica Pressler wrote the article, and so I created a character sort of inspired by the work that she did, not really based on her at all, but inspired by the work that she did, and built a story about what happens when a journalist tries to delve into the life of a person and really find the truth about them. And what was interesting about that was there were all these people with different takes on who Anna was and what their experiences with what Anna had been. Sometimes they were completely opposite of one another. Sometimes they were exactly the same. Sometimes you could feel the reality of the human being in them. Sometimes they were not, but mostly what you noticed was that everybody found in Anna what they needed to find in Anna. And somehow she left everybody changed that she's encountered. And that's a powerful person. My ambitions for Shondaland are big. I want the company to grow, and I want us to be a place that in 25 years, someone's saying there was a Shonda of Shondaland. Part of my ambitions for Shondaland are that we grow as a media company, as a company that encompasses more than just film and TV, that we are telling stories in all areas and making sure that those areas really reflect how we've learned to tell stories over the years, how we've learned to be effective with our audience. We have these openings and this incredible wave of creativity that's allowed to us now that we're with Netflix. We can make deals with iHeart, we can make deals with Hearst, we can be open to doing other things as well and having partnerships. And that means that as a company, we just have more possibilities and more options. I think Ted and everybody at Netflix understands that storytelling is at the center of everything that we do, but that there are other ways to tell stories and they are comfortable with us telling them.